White House officials say President Trump has yet to decide whether to release a classified memo about the Russia investigation. The chairman of the House Intelligence Committee wrote the memo, which is said to suggest an anti-Trump bias in the Justice Department. Republicans want it made public. The FBI is lobbying to keep it under wraps. CBS News Justice and Homeland Security correspondent Jeff Pegues has more.
In a rare statement, the FBI pushed back hard against the memo being released. "We have grave concerns about material omissions of fact," the statement reads, "that fundamentally impact the memo's accuracy."
On the national security front,
it was a stinging challenge to President Trump by Christopher Wray, his hand-picked FBI director. Monday night, Wray and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein met Chief of Staff John Kelly at the White House to argue against the release of the memo. The 4-page document, authorized by Republican Congressman Devin Nunes, alleges abuses by the FBI and DOJ when seeking a surveillance warrant of a Trump campaign official. Nunes asserted today it's clear that top officials used unverified information in a court document to fuel a counterintelligence investigation during an American political campaign. Democrats accuse Nunes and the White House of distorting the facts in the review in order to discredit Special Counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation. Adam Schiff is the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee.
What do you think the goal is here?
The goal of it is to provide a misleading impression to the country that benefits the president, that protects the president, that casts doubt on the investigation and the FBI.
Last night, as he was leaving the State of the Union speech, the president said he was committed to making the memo public.
Let's release the memo. Oh, yeah. Don't worry. 100%.
White House and national security officials are reviewing whether to block the memo's release, but John Kelly said today that he expects it to be released pretty quick. Elaine.
Well, Jeff, you mentioned this is a rare statement from the FBI. What's the significance of the Bureau making a public plea like this?
Well, typically in situations like this where you have this highly charged political atmosphere and you have this very sensitive issue with this memo, it's not easy to get a public statement out of the FBI, and this one came without us asking this afternoon. And so the FBI is concerned about this, clearly, and that's why you had this statement coming out late today. The concern is that with the release of this memo, it could compromise some methods and sources for intelligence gathering. And so that's the heart of the issue here for the FBI, and the fact that FBI officials believe that this Republican memo cherry picks some of the facts and then misrepresents some of the facts as well.
Well, Congressman Nunes says the memo implicates top officials using unverified information. You mentioned the concern on the part of the FBI that it could potentially then disclose sources and methods. But what additional fallout could there be if this memo is released?
Well, there are people, and depending on who you talk to about this, there are people obviously on the Democratic side who believe that this type of release of information could serve to discredit the Mueller investigation. Obviously, it's the special counsel's office that's investigating whether there was any coordination between the Trump campaign and Russian officials, Russian operatives. And so there is a concern that it could jeopardize the investigation, discredit the investigation, but also serve to lead to the firing of top DOJ officials or FBI officials. So there is concern about that as well. Specifically, the Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, you've obviously heard his name quite a bit. He is the one overseeing the special counsel's investigation. And there are Democrats on Capitol Hill who believe that this is an effort to also discredit him and the work that he has done approving some of the intelligence gathering efforts.
All right, Jeff Pegues in Washington for us. Jeff, thanks very much.
My pleasure.